Hey guys, welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and as you can see behind me, we're going to be starting up some Pneumatic Craft. So, I hope you're ready. So, I've had a couple of questions of people wondering why I'm going and doing certain mods in this pack, and I kind of want to use this episode as an example for that. So, let's go ahead and open our crafting table up. And we're going to look at what all the mods star that is added by all the mods tweaks actually does. And you can see this is how you get your creative items for the end game. So when it comes to what I need to be able to make this thing, I'm trying to base it off of this crafting recipe. And you can see that to make this thing, it requires a lot of stuff. Or you can even use it to make the energy queen, which this thing produces way too much energy. But it does require some items to get. We have the ability to pull out this much mana. That's awesome. So we've done Botania, just a little bit of Botania. Not everything that we need has been completed, but we do have a basis in it to be able to provide a background for us whenever we go to make these other parts. So an Archmage Blood Orb is very late game blood magic. That's actually not going to be too difficult for us to get. We should be able to handle that fairly well. Now, we do have some other things, like the forged instrumentum. This stuff right here requires us to pretty much progress all the way through immersive engineering, for the most part, to be able to get this. And some other things. Looks like we have tungsten plates, that's tech reborn. We also have environmental tech, which is this crystal right here, which this is a very late tier 6, I believe it comes from. Yeah, tier 6 or tier 5, so it's tier 5. And then we have Mox nuclear fuel, which comes from industrial craft. Octane, we've already went to the Betweenlands, so we needed it for this, or octane. It's called, everybody's been calling it something different. Octane, something like that. Then we also have this guy, the Field Core. And this is where we're going to get into today's video. As you can see, we also have UU matter. Making UU matter shouldn't be too difficult for us, as we should be able to figure that out. But do you see this? Advanced pressure tubes. And this is going to be something that is required from Pneumatic Craft. So I think since you guys have been asking, oh, you want me to get into some more tech related mods, Pneumatic Craft is going to be the mod of choice today. As we are going to work our way through the next couple of episodes on, we're going to work our way to get to this Pneumatic Craft assembly machine, or assembly process, or assembly control, whatever you want to call this, the assembly line for Pneumatic Craft. And it shouldn't be too bad to make these things, or it shouldn't be too bad to get to this point. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, I needed a little area for us to build on. This might actually expand. But what I would like to have is like fence that goes up here that kind of says stay out, because this is going to be like a highly pressurized area. Yeah, it's just kind of something I was thinking about. But to get started, we kind of need to blow some stuff up. And if I remember correctly, this will not blow up our base. Fingers crossed. Take a look here. If we claim this, this should prevent this from exploding our base. At least that's the goal. But it still should convert the iron. As you can see, we are going to need something called compressed iron, and that's going to require us to place this near TNT. Now, it's a material loss of 20% on average, so you can expect us to lose 20% of what we currently have here, unfortunately. But we can do this multiple times, and we have a large quantity of iron. Let's go ahead and throw all this here. And next thing we need to do is set that on fire and wait. Voila. And that was all converted. You see, we lost like a stack and almost a quarter of this other stack. So we do still have this available, but we did lose quite a bit. All right, so now that we have that, let's go actually to Pneumatic Craft. Because there's a lot to kind of look at in this mod, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird to get into this because at least when I originally started learning this mod, there was just not that much documentation on it. It was very thin. At least when I had started. I don't know if there had been a book added or anything like that that has in-game documentation. But you can find out a little bit online. But the best place to learn is probably by watching somebody else like me kind of go through this. So today we're going to go through the basics. We're going to generate some pressure. That's going to be number one. So before we can even start generating pressure, we're going to need some pressurized tubes. This is how we're going to transfer our pressure around our area. So now that we have the tubes, we need some way to generate pressure. And that's going to be, the basic is going to be our air compressor. Very, very simple to make this thing. I'm going to make 4 of them for now. And you can see it does use our tubes, and it also uses some of that compressed iron that we made. So I'm going to make 4 of those. Okay. Now that we have that, we need to use the pressure, and we need something to hook it into. One of the first things that you can make is a charging station. Because we do have a drill that is in here that we probably need to look at making as well. The pneumatic wrench. This thing is actually very important. So we'll go ahead and get a canister. Doesn't have to have any air in it. But we do need some orange dye and a lever. So there we go. There's a lever. And we have ourselves a pneumatic wrench. This thing is very important. It's how you're going to rotate certain things in this mod that are going to be very handy for you. So these are some of the base things that you're going to need to get started. So let's go ahead and first figure out how we are going to charge our pneumatic wrench, because right now it's kind of useless sitting there. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and place this down. Now, we need to figure out which direction this places. As you can see, when I place this, there is a manual. New chapters unlocked. So we do have we have a manual now. That's nice. Right here. Yeah. That's something that I've wanted. Look at that. So that's great. This is Vasky's mod that added this. So, or Vasky's mod added the ability for the mod dev to have a nice way of making a documentation for it. So there you go. This is the book. If you really want to learn a lot about it, everything will be in this book, and it should progress you through. When you click on an item, there's going to be nice documentation explaining what each item does. Very, very handy. So that wasn't there when I had originally started with this mod. So believe me, this thing is really, really handy. All right. So now that we know what direction this places, let's go ahead and place it like so. I'm going to place 2 here and here. All right. So right now we're just going to focus on 1, and that's going to be hooking this up to a charging station. So I'm going to place the charging station down, and then I'm going to hook it up to a pipe. And you can see right here, it kind of tells you the pressure that's in the stuff, how much this can handle. And I think when you open this up, you also have another gauge in here that's going to explain to you how things are going to be charged. Now, this thing requires some kind of fuel. That could be coal, charcoal, whatever you see fit. So blocks of charcoal. I still need to get that charcoal stuff automated. We might work on that today, because this mod is going to require lots of charcoal. So I think it might be time to get the charcoal automation set up. All right. So once this is going, you can see that pressure is starting to build up. This is on. If there's a leak or anything like that, you'll notice this. Yeah, it's really loud. And you'll notice the particle effects come out, which actually have been changed. I like these new particle effects. When you place this back on, you can see it'll start to recharge again, and this will actually start to go up. But this right here, the max pressure this can produce is only 5 bar. So this will never go past 5 bar, given that you're just using this to generate the pressure. But 5 bar is perfectly fine. I think this thing can hold more than 5 bar. If we put this in here, it's going to slowly charge. But you got to think that this whole system is pretty much kind of going to level itself out at near 5 bar. So this thing will not get any more pressure in it built up than 5 bar. Pressure is a little bit different than how flux and stuff works. So just kind of keep that in mind. I don't know. It's got its own mechanics. And you can see right here, this right here is going to, and you can add upgrades to this, by the way. If you do feel necessary, there's upgrade slots. Some very nice upgrades are security upgrades and speed upgrades. These are going to be your best friend, but both of those are kind of expensive. Especially this one, as it requires lubricant bucket, which I'll explain that in a future episode. These are just going to require obsidian and, you know, some gold. Not too bad. Yeah, once we get a little bit of pressure, that's all this thing really needs, just a little bit built up, and I'll let that do that. All right, so at this point, I think we're going to need to get ourselves some charcoal process up, or at least get the production started. So I went ahead and made an alloy smelter, another one, and I have a hopping bonsai. We're going to need to get these things powered, and we're not going to use this system, I don't believe, or, you know, yeah, we're not going to utilize this because I do want the power to, I want this to be kind of just auto placed in our system. So if we go to, let's see, power, we're going to pull up some power cells. I should have enough for this, maybe. Or we might actually have some power. Nope, we don't have any power cells available. Man, I was hoping we were going to have some. But I am going to need some more prismarine, and I don't think I have the seeds made yet. Man, I really need a guardian seed. That's something that I'm definitely going to need eventually. I always seem to be spending my time doing that. I think I have a home one. Yeah, that takes me over here. Perfect. Wait, I can just dump this. I also need to get this moved eventually. Oh, well, that didn't convert anything, did it? Ah, I guess it's time to move this. Well, there we go. All right, so charcoal. Let's go ahead and get this taped up. We'll tape both of these as I am taking them. Over here, they're not really being used for anything. Same with this bonsai. And this one over here we can tape up as well. This is, by the way, the Cobblestone Generator. Actually, I don't think I explained the Cobblestone Generator. I made that a long time ago when I was working on a build. And I never ended up explaining that. Alright, so that's going to be good enough. We'll have to talk about that. That's more nuclear craft stuff. But it's very simple to make. You kind of look at the recipe. Okay. So, where do we want to place this? Well, for one thing, I definitely need to get power to the atomic constructor. So let's go ahead and drop that down here. Like that. That should still be set, and we can now do that a lot easier. Perfect. That'll allow making this power a lot easier. There we go. Bam, and another one of these. Okay, so I want the power cell to go over here because I'm going to have my items automatically insert into here. For that, I'm going to need to drill here. Probably just place the power cell down there. We are going to need to link this. How? I have to come down here. Again. To link. Perfect. We're going to hook this back up. Get that power, set that to output power. And then we're going to set up this guy. Awesome. So it shouldn't be too difficult, at least right now, to go ahead and get this thing set up. Let's go ahead and throw that in there so we can get some power built up. I want to set this to furnace only. We'll set the configuration to input. So it'll be pull only from the top. And then right here, we'll set this to push. And this chest, as we know, goes directly into our system. Awesome. So we should be able to take a drawer like this that had been building up. And just leave that there. And that is locked, I do believe. Right? We need a key. I do see that it definitely shows that it's locked. Alright, and then on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and throw this. And this just over time should build up everything we need. So there we go. So there's another oak sapling. I guess we could have another drawer. I don't know if we have any of the basic drawers, but that's what we need. Awesome. So I'm going to go with just 2 of these basic storage drawers. We're going to put one here as well, and one here. That one, that should be able to pull. We'll set that one up with the dark as well. We're going to need dirt. Grass actually would be the best. So using grass will be better than using dirt. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and break that. We could actually pop that out if we had an axe on us, but we don't have an axe on us at the moment. So yeah, I recommend using grass if you have it at this point. So we'll throw those down there, put grass in them, because that'll help. I need to tell this. We want oak logs. So I can lock these specifically to oak. Of course, the other one's not going to be oak, but that's okay. We'll lock that, and now these will only accept oak. We can go ahead and throw this sapling here. And we should also be able to throw another oak sapling, not an apple sapling, an oak sapling. Right there. Alright, and I'll set this to pull. And this right here is going to generate charcoal for us. It should go into here. And we should now start to see charcoal build up. And we should start seeing quite a bit of it. So this is how I would set up the charcoal automation. It's not too bad. We are using our power to generate the charcoal. Because I don't really need the charcoal to generate power, at least for this mod. It's going to be used for other things. Like Pneumatic Craft. So, this guy had a whoopsie happen. So, if you notice, the pipe is gone. That's because it exploded. This thing ended up pressurizing up to 6.2 bar. If you recognize that, the reason it's up to 6.2 bar is because this guy kind of went a little overboard, and these pipes can only handle up to 5 bar, and then they can become unstable and can blow up. That's where the security upgrade helps. The security upgrade basically monitors once this goes over a certain pressure, and it will not let it extend over a certain pressure. It'll keep your pipes safe. So if you put a security upgrade in here, your pipes will not burst like that. The other way you can do this is just by managing it with redstone. I believe these pipes allow you to monitor them with conduits, or not conduits, with let's see, with some other redstone stuff. Comparators. I think comparators work with this. And I think there's some redstone output things you can do with it. I prefer the security upgrades just because I feel those are the safest. All right. So now that we're to this point, I think we have the ability now to go ahead and move forward. So I think the wrench lets you just pop these things off now. You can see just like that. That's the super nice thing about the wrench. You don't have to break it or anything, as these things are a little bit harder to break. And this actually retains its stored air. Oh, the sound kind of changes as well. That's kind of cool. So what I want to do is I want to kind of hook these together. Because we're going to actually hook this into a little special machine that we're going to make here in a minute. That is called the Pressurized Chamber. And it should be in our book, but some of the things we're going to need is 2 of these pressurized interfaces. We're going to need a little bit of pressurized glass. That's just for the, aesthetics. And we're going to need some pressurized chamber walls. So let's go ahead and make those. So this is going to require some hoppers. 2 of these are what you're going to need. You're going to need an input and output. So it's very important to know those. But they're both going to look the same at first. It's based on how you place these things in. And like I said, the pressurized glass, that is just going to be for looks. All right, and I think that is about it for making this thing. Oh, we're going to need a pressure valve, of course. This is how we let air in to our system. Okay, so let's go ahead and frame this out. So this guy just goes sort of like this. This is our base. And you got to think the walls are going to go up. We're also going to need a place to input pressure. So what I'll do is I guess I can go ahead and have pressure be piped in from the bottom, maybe? Or the side. I'll just do it from the side here. So this is the spot where we can hook our pressure into, or our pipes, like this. So that's how our pressure will hook into. You can see it's already kind of releasing the pressure. We don't really want that happening right now. So go ahead and break that off. There we go. But that's technically how it would work. And we need to continue to build this up. On one of these other sides, I want my input, and this is based on how you place this. So if we look this way, this says I. That means this side is an input. But if I place this here, this is going to be called an output. So we have our input and our output. Now, I don't prefer to do it this way. I like my input being on the roof. And if you notice, you just have to place that down. I'm fine with my output being on the side, but I'd prefer the this to be on the roof. All right, so I'll put my output right here. That's fine. The glass can go here, here. And we just kind of cover the rest of this up. And last but not least, we look down and place this. And it is ready to go. And you noticed that sort of opened up, that animation there. Because this is how this thing works. It's kind of interesting. All of this stuff is pretty interesting. And I love how it's kind of been updated, actually. But you can kind of see in through the sides here. You know, I might place the output on this back area. Just because I think having the glass on this side looks a lot better. So there we go. And glass on this side. There we go. Looks a lot nicer. Right? Alright, so we need to get power to this. And let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Now these are not running, but this will help speed it up. It won't help you get over a certain bar level, but what they will do is they'll help speed the time at which it takes to pressurize this chamber. I guess I can place that. So yeah, you can open this up. You can see how much pressure is in here. It'll tell you your warnings. No valid items are in the chambers. Your pressure, all that good stuff. This is basically the backbone of this mod and how we are going to craft things. So with that being said, I think that's about it on this crazy contraption. The only thing we're going to need now is coal or charcoal. Just to sort of fill these guys up with some charcoal. Now you can use levers on these to turn them off, if so need be. If you want to turn them off, that's the best way to do it. Probably the worst thing that can happen is just your pipes are going to explode. You know, this thing is probably, you're not going to get this thing up to the high enough level to explode this thing, I don't believe. But other than that, I mean, that's about it. We can set up item filters, but what I plan on doing is actually using pneumatic hoppers for this. Speaking of those hoppers, it's an omnidirectional hopper is what this thing is. And what we can do is I can go ahead and place this on top. That's going to work perfectly fine. But down here, a little bit different. We also need to set this up for redstone. So if I place this like so, that's not going to work. We need to rotate this. And it's going to be based on the direction that you're placing your output. So, a chest, for example. We need a chest on the top. We can place a chest down here for our output. If I place this down here, we can now rotate this, and it's going to be connected there. But we do need to make sure that our redstone is set up correctly, and we are going to need a lever. So might as well grab that. The lever is going to go here, and that's going to be able to power this block. And we're going to set this redstone behavior to not always on, but it's going to be on high signal, I believe. Or is it low signal? I guess it doesn't really matter as long as this has a signal. Information, warnings. Redstone disallows the machine to function. Remove the redstone signal. So if we remove this, then you can see it's no problems. So if this is on, this will not allow the certain items to come out of this thing. Right? And that's what we want. So I'm going to go and place this. To be able to let them come out, that's when we would activate the lever. That might be kind of confusing, but we'd have to let it mess up first. All right. So now that we're at this point, we're getting pretty high levels here. Let's take a look at this upgrade right here. We should be able to make that pretty easily. So we're going to need some levers. And I'm only going to need one of these for now. And I'm just going to place that in here. Perfect. Okay, so that should help make sure that nothing goes wrong with this thing. That this doesn't explode or anything. That's probably a good thing. You don't really want this thing exploding. All right, let's go on to some things that we're going to need to craft with this. So let's go into Pneumatic Craft and let's take a look. Because there's several things that we're going to need this chamber for. And I don't know if it tells you specifically. Is it the chamber block that we need to look for? Right here. So you can see we can take blocks of coal and convert them into diamonds, right? We can also now convert the iron over, or iron blocks. We can make these turbine blades. We can also start working on PCBs. We can make something called etching acid, which we're definitely going to have to make. But you can see it requires some plastic, so there are some steps that we have to take before we can do that. It looks like you can enchant items. That's interesting. I didn't actually know that was a thing. Yeah, looks like you can enchant items or disenchant items as well. That's kind of cool. So yeah, we can disenchant items provided that we give it the right amount of stuff. Huh. All right. So as you can see, that's kind of how we can do things. Now, before we can even utilize this thing, let me actually grab some levers. We need 4 of these. I like to sort of place them back here. And make sure our redstone is set to high signal, I believe. Or sorry, low signal. Set these to low signal. And then that way when we flip these off, or flip these on technically, it's going to shut these off. They're going to stop producing fuel, or stop producing air. Yeah, because we don't really want them doing that. This right here, by the way, that noise is a security upgrade. It's letting out excess air. And so this mod can get kind of loud. Yeah, or things like that happen. I thought it just turned you off. I'm pretty sure I just turned that off. So that is actually letting air out of here as well, so we got to be kind of careful. Yeah, turn these guys off. They just took a little bit of time, but we lost one. You can see kind of the dangers that happen with this mod, or could happen with this mod. All right, so now that those shenanigans are over, let's talk about some of the other things that we're going to have to get into, and that is heat. Using like this processing plant. So guys, I guess we're gonna have to wait till next episode as we are running out of time. But anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying this, and if you really like learning a little bit about Pneumatic Craft, please give that video or this video a huge thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. I think next episode we are gonna really dive deeper into more Pneumatic Craft, and we're gonna talk about how we're gonna make plastic and things like that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one, and as always, thanks for watching.